guys, how's it going? It's Al, DraftKings week 5. I can't believe it is already week 5. We're done with September. We're into October, and week 5 is where we're at for NFL DFS, and I am going to go through and make a tournament lineup for this week. A first look, if you will. We're going to take a quarterback. I wonder who the quarterback's going to be. Who could he be? I don't know. It's a mystery. We're going to pick a quarterback. We're going to double stack and bring him back with somebody else and create a secondary stack for a solid tournament look of a lineup early in the week. It's an exercise to give us a process-based overview at 30,000 feet of the entire slate. If you were looking for the recap video, I get this comment a couple of times a week. You know, you should really take a look back at your tournament lineups from the last week and like do a video about that. I do that video. It is already posted. It's on the fantasy football channel. Go to smizzle.tv/ff, smizzle.tv/links, Al Smizzle Fantasy Football. If you wanted to search for it on YouTube, go find that channel. 5-6 videos a week on that channel. The recap video, Rainmakers video, and QB, wide receiver, and running back rankings to help you with your fantasy football teams that you play against your friends and family. I'm trying to help you beat your idiot friends. But let me try and help you take a look at the week 5 slate so you can take down a tournament. Let's go!
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League week 5 is week 4 and week 3 were such a great success that DraftKings made it drastically bigger. It is now 5,500 participants. That is 1,000 people bigger than it was last week. It was already the best tournament that exists on DraftKings. Now it's like 25% better. It's still $10 to enter. It's still 3 max. Still 10% of the prize pool goes to first and 10% of first goes to 10th. It's still available for you at smizzle.tv/links. That's where it exists. There's a link down below in the description. Just click show more. There's that same link down below in the pinned comment. Make sure that you click that. It'll take you to the link tree to take all the links right there. Get in the listener league, and it will also have, as I said in the open, the link to take you to Al Smizzle Fantasy Football, where the recap video for week 4 will be live every single Monday. So let's start. I'll go over quarterbacks, okay? There's a lot of high scoring games this week. We have the Bills favored by 14. 14 is a lot of points. They're favored by 14 points over the Steelers. Usually when we get into these situations, you hear that there's a lot of statements from people. People say a lot of words. And some of those words are, they're favored by so much, all they're going to do is run the ball. Well, if they score, or my favorite one, they're going to be up by so much that they're going to pull all the starters when they're winning by 40 points. Well, if they're winning by 40, if it's like 44, if they're up by 30, if it's 44-13 in the fourth quarter, how do you think they got all those points? And yeah, at that point, they would probably, start running the football. But like, there's worlds where like Josh Allen and the Bills have 30 points in the first half on 3 or 4 touchdowns accredited to Josh Allen. So like fading a quarterback or a passing game because they're favored by a lot of points seems like a fool's errand, which leads to lower ownership numbers in tournaments, which also makes it a better tournament play. So we'll have to monitor that as the week goes on. Jalen Hurts, the other premium quarterback, not going to have to worry about the weather that he worried about in week 4. He plays in Arizona this week. They are favored by 5, total of 49.5. Looks like it's going to be a close and competitive game. On the other side of that, obviously Kyler Murray. Monitor the Call of Duty situations there. Justin Herbert looked like the old Justin Herbert once again. Multiple touchdowns, had a long of 50 yards, 340 yards from scrimmage, only 24 DraftKings points. Goes up against Cleveland this week. They do play a little bit slower, but they've been very efficient at passing the football through Njoku, most weeks through Amari Cooper. If he gets Keenan Allen back this week, and this is more of a fully functioning battle station with the Chargers, with Eckler and Allen and Mike Williams, Herbert could be in for a big day in this situation. Tua Tagovailoa looks like he is going to be out again this week. So in week 5, we're dealing with a much cheaper situation in this spot, if I can find them, against the New York Jets with Teddy Two Gloves at 5,400. If you don't believe that they're going to be able to throw the ball as well with Teddy Bridgewater, I get it, but he did do just fine. Teddy Bridgewater has not been very good on deep ball efficiency the last 2 or 3 seasons. It's part of who he is as a quarterback. Like, that's not his forte. He exists on shorter passes, but this offense is going to exist on throwing the ball down the field, and they're going to live or die with that, as well as mixing in runs and short passes as well. But like, they're going to test this deep ball efficiency with him, and thankfully they have a couple of wide receivers in Waddle and Tyreek Hill who can improve a quarterback's deep ball efficiency. Think back to Alex Smith, who was never a great deep ball thrower, but then with Tyreek Hill had one of the greatest efficiency seasons on balls thrown over 15 yards of all time in his last season as a starter for the Kansas City Chiefs. So like, it's not like he doesn't have guys who can increase that or improve that. Play him as you will. Matthew Stafford playing on Monday night goes up against Dallas in this spot. Dallas's defense very tough, but also takes a lot of chances. I'll be interested to see what happens there. Cousins in kind of a play down situation. Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions look like they're the fantasy carnival this year, leading the league in scoring and points against. So he just looks like a goof. What are you going to do? Threw for 378 this week and 4 touchdowns as they were chasing. 4 touchdowns also in week 2. We have a little Saberhagening going on here with 2, 4, 1, 4. So this might be the week where he throws 2 or less touchdowns. Then in week 6, we'll jump right back on and get there. I did want to talk about something on the New England side here. And it's really a weird situation because New England is going to be, because of how fun it's been, let's say, to stream literally anything against Detroit, they have 2 running backs. They're priced basically the same. This, I'm telling you right now, it may only be Monday, but I'm telling you right now that this New England Patriots running back situation is going to be the most impossible to predict situation of week 5. It's going to be potentially the most frustrating situation of week 5 when Sunday rolls around and the one that you play isn't the one getting the stuff. Here's where we sit. And I tweeted about this morning. I don't have the exact numbers offhand, but go with me on this one. Damian Harris played less snaps. He played approximately 45% of the running back snaps for New England in week 4. He handled over 50% of the running back touches in week 4. He had 19 touches, which was 1 more than Ramondre Stevenson had last week, who also did pretty well with 14 carries, 5 targets. Stevenson is more involved in the passing game than Harris is. Harris ran 7 routes. Stevenson ran 13 routes. So Stevenson on the field more in passing situations. Harris is on the field more in goal-to-go situations, carries that originate from inside the 5-yard line. What I'm telling you is this situation is primed to piss you off come Sunday, where they get inside the 5 and you played Ramondre Stevenson and here comes Damian Harris to pound in a touchdown from in close. Or you played Damian Harris and then Ramondre Stevenson is getting 4 or 5 targets and scores on a pass from outside the 10-yard line. I'm just saying this is an impossible situation to forecast at this point, and I don't believe we are going to get any sort of clarity. This is just what they are as a backfield. They're going to play who they have to play in the situations that they have to play them. Both are playable. It's going to be tough for either of them to score over 25 points without multiple touchdowns. It's tough to bet on a multiple touchdown game. It's like, it's the Paul O'Neill. You have to hit one, like hitting 1 home run is hard, but like, you want me to hit 2? Where did you come up with that? That's basically the situation. It's a Paul O'Neill situation in New England for those of you Seinfeld fans. Yeah, and it's a train wreck. You can't pass it up, but you also can't stay away from it. So Tom Brady, we're getting kind of a Sunday night discount in this spot. We had talked about how bad the Buccaneers offense looked in weeks 1, weeks 2, and weeks 3. The Buccaneers were not operating with a full set of pass catchers for Tom Brady. Tom Brady, his last season or 2 in New England with no Gronk and like a 74 times concussed Julian Edelman, was not as efficient a passer as he was back when he had better pass catchers on the outside and at the tight end position. Similar things happened earlier this season. Evans got kicked out of this game. Evans was suspended against Green Bay. Godwin had been out from, he played a little bit in week 1, then he twisted his knee and pulled his hamstring, and that where it strained his hamstring. Both of them are now back. And it's not surprising that even though the defense gave up 41 points that week, and he threw it 52 times. His efficiency was drastically improved. Threw for 385 against Kansas City with no interceptions, a passer rating above 114. Now he gets to go back home and play against Atlanta. He's only $6,000 on DraftKings. That's absurdly low based on his weeks 1 through 3 production without the guys that we want to see. And now he has Mike Evans back from suspension, caught 8 of 10 against Kansas City for 2 touchdowns, actually great wide receiver. And now he has Chris Godwin back from injury, who received 10 targets as well and caught 7 of them. The more that Godwin gets healthy, the greater this team will play with Russ Gage, hopefully Julio Jones, who got nicked up. Like, that's just, this is evergreen content. Julio Jones got hurt. Like, it is what it is at this point of his career. Great wide receiver, but trouble staying healthy. Russ Gage, and then a bunch of other guys to mix in to help move the chain. Scotty Miller, Beasley, Darden, whatever, right? At tight end, not much help there with Braid, or, you know, like you're just not going to get a ton out of these guys, Braid or Rudolph or any of them. It all flows through the wide receivers. So a very condensed target tree for Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Godwin. Now we have to have a bring back player. I'm going to go with Drake London. I'm going to go with Drake London because he's getting over 30% of the... You thought I was going to go with Pitts, didn't you? You were about to riot. You guys, I swear to God, you were about to riot, weren't you? You were going to throw stuff. You almost flipped your desk. I know it. Look, they did not throw the ball last week because they kind of didn't have to in the second half against Cleveland. Atlanta, they were running like a triple wing offense. They were ripping off like 10 yards per carry, like every single one. London coming off of another week where they threw the ball 19 times. London got 7 of those targets. That's a lot. It's a really high market share of targets. I do not believe that the Atlanta Falcons, minus Cordero Patterson, who just hit the IR, is going to be able to establish the hell out of it in Tampa Bay against Tampa Bay. You cannot beat Tampa Bay by running the football. You're just not going to do it. You have to throw it, which means more attempts for Marcus Mariota, regardless of how much Smith believes in his ability to complete passes or throw the football. If you want to go to the rookie Ritter, go ahead and do it, but like, you're going to have to throw it 30 plus times. And if they throw it 30 plus times and Drake London gets double-digit targets at $6K, he too is underpriced, which is going to lead me to the running backs. Now, look, if you wanted to discuss the ins and outs of all of these guys, you need to go get into our Discord community, smizzle.tv/links, or you can get right there by going to smizzle.tv/Discord. I've made it as easy as possible for you. If you're a channel member on YouTube, not just a YouTube subscriber, you have to be a channel member on YouTube. Click the join button. It is $5 a month. You get access, if you are a channel member, to all of the VIP rooms in Discord. We have open rooms, but I really kind of don't hang out in the open rooms in our Discord. There's people that do hang out there. You can find community there as well. But the majority of our subscribers on Twitch and our channel members on YouTube are hanging out in the VIP rooms. Make sure you join our Discord community today. Join the channel, become a channel member here on YouTube, and you will have people around you all the time whenever you want to talk strategy, cash game plays, tournament plays, or anything else, or for whatever sport it is that you play, golf, NBA, MLB, in our Discord channels. Getting back to the running backs. So I mentioned how I think that there's going to be a lot of people on New England running backs, and for good reason. I'm not going to play them in this video. Okay, I'm going to go somewhere else with this. McCaffrey saw 9 targets again. So we got the old McCaffrey usage that we wanted, 25.8 points. Can't really afford him based on where we are. There will always be wide receiver value that pops up as the weeks go on, or as the week progresses from Monday through like Saturday, because as players exit, we find other players that are like 4K that get thrust into higher volume roles. But we're going to stay with a little bit more of a balanced build for this. So like all of these players we'll dig into later in the week. The 5-box running back, top running backs video will come out on Tuesday right here on the main channel. So look out for that one. Leonard Fournette should be one of the guys in that video, considering that he's in that spot. Saw a big dip in his usage in week 4 versus previous weeks, because like they can't keep running him out there for like 90%, 90 to 95% of the snaps and touches. They kind of cycled him through last night, and they were playing from so much from behind that he got no carries in that game. Thankfully, they have their wide receivers back to be able to take some of the weight off of him, but the more efficiency this offense gets, the better it's going to be for Fournette. Swift is still questionable for this spot. I think he's out until after the bye week. which makes Jamal Williams at 6,500 a solid play once again. Miles Sanders, Miles Sanders is in a waiting, he's in the waiting room for me. I'm not playing Miles Sanders unless if Boston Scott is out, Miles Sanders takes a big step forward in terms of his usage, because 2 running backs in a committee is better than 3 running backs in a committee. He scored 2 touchdowns last year. Remember, nobody thought he was going to score any touchdowns this year because he didn't score any touchdowns last year. He has 3 so far, guys, through 4 weeks. That seems pretty okay to me. So as long as Boston Scott is out and not hogging those inside the 5 carries, Miles Sanders gets more carries in those situations. We're in wait and see mode on him. One player that I do want to use, we're going to be streaming running backs against Houston all year long. They are allowing the most yards in the league before first contact. That's not great. If you let running backs get a full head of steam and get to that second level, they're going to rip off a ton of yards. Teams are going to continue establishing the hell out of it. Jacksonville at home does project to play from ahead in this spot. Sneak preview, James Robinson will be on the 5-box running backs video. They are playing at home. They are favored by 7.5. He does project to get 20 touches, 20 opportunities in this game, and has been the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars inside the 5-yard line. Checks every box for me. I'm going with James Robinson in that spot. If you wanted to go with Singletary, I don't hate that here either. He has really rested the job. He has outsnapped the other 2 running backs on this team, Cook, the rookie, and Zach Moss, by like a 4-to-1 ratio combined over the last 3 weeks, like 120 snaps to like 30. It's ridiculous how much he has taken over the job here right now for the Buffalo Bills. And as I said, they're like 72-point favorites this week against Pittsburgh. KHALIL Herbert, so long as David Montgomery is out, will be the main guy and get you those 20 touches that you want. The running back that I wanted to highlight and go with on this video still seems too cheap. Breece Hall has seen a role change. We are seeing the thing move in real time. In week 1, Michael Carter was the lead back. In week 2, Michael Carter was the lead back. In week 3 and in week 4, we have seen Breece Hall take a greater share of the running back snaps. And in week 4 specifically, saw him take over the lion's share of the running back touches for the New York Jets. He is targeted on a good amount of his routes. My worry was that Zach Wilson does not typically throw the ball to his running backs. That is just, he throws the ball outside. He is better for Elijah Moore. He is better for Corey Davis. He is better for Garrett Wilson. But Breece Hall getting 6 targets in a game against Pittsburgh was encouraging. So Zach Wilson is aware that there are running backs on his team that he is allowed to throw the football to. And if Breece Hall, who is, in my opinion, a better back than Michael Carter, from a talent standpoint, even though running backs are very much replaceable, if you put a better back into a situation where there is talent on the outside and running against light boxes, a very big time prospect is in a situation where he can now finally eat, and he's only 5,400 playing at home against Miami and this Teddy Bridgewater led offense. The Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites here. So we are playing a running back into a underdog situation, and Miami's defense is solid, but 5,400 is too cheap a price at first look for me to pass up. I'm going to go with him. And you know what? We like correlation on this channel, so I'm just going to go plug in. He's pretty good. And Teddy Bridgewater showed us, if he showed us nothing else, he showed us the fact that he is going to just laser lock in on Tyreek Hill. Even if Raheem Mostert is wide open in the left flat on the last play of the football game that would have won me showdown on that slate, I'm not at all bitter about that. Like, not at all. I'm past it. Totally not past it. He's just going to throw the ball at Tyreek Hill. 14 targets in week 4, 13 targets in week 2, 12 targets in week 1. I know that the Jets have really good cornerbacks. I know that Sauce Gardner is really good. I know that PFF has their other cornerback ranked in like the top 5 right now throughout the season. So like solid, right? Of course. Very solid defensive play on the outside. Don't overcount that when it comes to Tyreek Hill. Just don't. Okay, they may slow him down. They may cause an efficiency drop, coupled with Teddy Bridgewater not being as great as he is, but Tyreek Hill can win you a slate on 1 or 2 catches. So for a tournament play, I'm totally okay paying up in that spot for him. That leaves us with 2 spots left. If you have not yet, definitely go and check out the charity fundraiser that we are running with No Kid Hungry. We're trying to raise $100,000. Every single dollar that you can give helps. Go to smizzle.tv/charity. Every donation you give is 100% tax deductible. No Kid Hungry is trying to provide food for food insecure kids across America in schools, school breakfasts and lunches for kids that rely on that food for their only meals of the day. So every dollar that you can give helps, and every $10,000 that we can raise, we've already gotten like over $25,000. When we get to $30,000, that will trigger another $10,000 match from me. And together, if $50,000 comes in from the community, I will donate a $50,000 in matches myself, bringing us to $100,000 on the season. So please be a part of something bigger than yourself and give to No Kid Hungry today. So I've got a tight end and a DST that's left. I have 2,800, which means I have to find a value play at tight end. If you're still watching the video, drop a like on the channel, or drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell. It greatly helps the channel, and I appreciate you guys spending your time and putting your eyeballs on these videos with and for me. It means a lot. Let's just plug in a cheap defense. Fine, the Bears, whatever. That leaves us with 3,300. I'm sick. There's not much down here, right? Smith Jr. has been really solid. Good amount of targets. We get a little bit of upside in a passing game here that does want to throw the ball. Evan Engram didn't see very many targets at all the last 2 weeks, but we've seen an 8-target upside from him. Cole Kmet has not been as advertised like we thought he was going to be because Chicago just isn't throwing the ball. Lamar Thomas has been getting a very solid amount of usage, somewhat touchdown dependent. But speaking of touchdown dependent, I'm sick of missing out on Will Disley. I'm over it. 3 touchdowns in 4 weeks. This has no rhyme or reason to be here, but like, I'm over it. I'm sick of it. I'm plugging in Will Disley because he scores a touchdown every week, and I just want a cheap guy that Geno Smith has apparently unlocked the entire ceiling on Will Disley. That's gonna do it for this week. I appreciate you guys being here. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.